Welcome to Her Career Studio. I'm your host and career coach, Lisa Virtue. Here we live by the mantra, thrive at work so you can thrive in life, because we know you are more than your day job. Each episode includes actionable tips and often mentor stories to not only boost your professional success, but also enhance your personal well-being. Join me as we explore ways to ensure your career uplifts your life. As you strive to achieve work-life harmony, head to hercareerstudio.com for free resources and coaching services to help support you during career transitions and challenges, such as when you are looking to find and land that next ideal job or promotion, or are leading a new team. We're here to support you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And please hit the thumbs up or leave a 5-star review if you are finding the content useful. This helps us keep going in our mission to help women in their careers. Thank you so much for your support. Now, please enjoy this week's episode on how to warm up a cold network. Yuck, that word networking. What is it about that word? It just really comes across off-putting, doesn't it? I blame things like multi-level marketing schemes and pyramid schemes here in the United States that really created a bad taste in people's mouths. Also, sleazy salesmen who are like using people in their network. And yet, this is something most of us, including myself, have probably utilized to get opportunity. So why don't we dig in to talk about how to warm up and nurture a network that has gone cold? And really what we're talking about when we use this word is relationships. Colleagues, work relationships, people that know the work that we do, that can help vouch for us and put a good word in for us so that we can have opportunity, especially when we're in the job market, when we're looking for that next role, or we're looking to hire somebody for the next role. More often than not, leaders turn to their networks. They turn to the people that they trust and they confide in to try and find the right best fit for their team. This is why it's essential for us to nurture those relationships and keep them warm and make sure that those relationships are mutually beneficial. One of the first secrets to what a career coach helps a job seeker with is to warm up their network right away. This is one of the first topics that I talk to my clients about because it's called the long game. If you've been neglecting people or you just haven't reached out, and it's been years since you've talked to people, or months if that feels like a long time, now is the time to reach out and just say, hey, just connect with people on that human level. First of all, you're being authentic because you were thinking about them when you connect. And second, it's because then you remind yourself of the amazing connections you do have. So it also builds your confidence as you go through the daunting task of job searching. Now, even people that don't like the concept of networking or they don't like to go to networking events, even they have a lot of stories about times that they've gotten an opportunity, gotten an interview because they knew somebody. So it's not just about who you know, it's also about who knows you, who knows about your work, who knows about your goals. Do they know that you're in the job market? Do they know that you're looking? These are all things you'll eventually tell your contacts as you warm them up. So let's get into some advice about how to network effectively and how to really warm up and nurture those relationships. The thing about work is that in this day and age, especially here in the United States, we end up having a lot of friendships. Sometimes people have relationships that go beyond the friendship from people we work with. We spend a lot of time with people. So we end up making these connections and these relationships, and we want the world for people. But when we move on to a new organization or a new job, we just don't see them very much anymore. So it becomes distant and removed. And if you're someone that has moved around a few times, you can have a lot of people you know, but not a lot of close connections. So the first step, get out a piece of paper or a Google Doc and write this down. 3 columns is all you need for this exercise. The first column is a list of names. It's a list of people that want the world for you. Now, to start with, I want you to include family and friends. Mom, dad, your children, your grandparents, whoever it is in your world, your aunts, your uncles, include those family and friends and write them down. That's the first column. The second column is, what is your relationship with this person, or how do you know them? Now, you are going to include work colleagues, of course, but I want you to include friends and family, and you'll find out why in a minute. The third column is, when was the last time you had a conversation with them. And I'm not talking about seeing them at a family event or saying a comment on their post on LinkedIn or saying congratulations for a new opportunity they got. I mean, when's the last time you actually had a conversation with them? So the reason that I had you also write down family and friends is because this is a big neglected part of most people's networks. For instance, do you know what Uncle Larry does for work? Do you know who's in his network? Most likely not. We usually make it taboo to speak about work and about careers when it comes to family and friend gatherings because people look down on it. I'm asking you to change this. Maybe not bring it up at Thanksgiving necessarily, but make sure that when you are looking at who's in your world and what's the best for you, you include those people that are close to you that you might not ever talk about work with. And make sure that they know that you're looking because they might know someone. It's just putting some more tentacles out there to keep that search open for you. It's also a great way on this list to just remind yourself that you do have people that got your back. And so it's good and nurturing to reach out to them and see how they're doing. So don't forget your friends and family when we talk about who's in your network. Okay, once you have this list and you've got all this information written down, I want you to start with at least 20 people and then go out from there. The next step is to reach out. So you might need to add a fourth column here to check the box that you've reached out to them. And what does it look like to reach out? First of all, it's just, again, warming them up, right? Maybe it's been a long time, so you need to break the ice somehow. And it can start with a simple acknowledgement of the gap in time it's been. So start with those that are most meaningful connections in your poor neglected network. Draft a personalized message that feels genuine and warm, really connecting on that human level. Mention something specific that made you think of them. It could be a recent achievement they shared on LinkedIn that you want to know more about. It could be a fond memory from your last interaction. I love this one. This happens to me a lot where I think of someone who I worked with and a funny story pops into my mind, or even just the way they made me feel, or a project I worked on with them and how I really appreciated they had my back. So an idea of something you could say when you reach out to them, make sure you do it on a platform that would normally feel right. It could be LinkedIn. A lot of people are just not active on there. So if they're not active on LinkedIn, I don't recommend it. But it could be an email, a text message, a social media message. It could be LinkedIn if they are active. It could be a phone call if you are used to talking to them on the phone. And you're going to say something like, "Hey, so-and-so, I was just thinking of you. Then I realized it had been 2 years since we've talked. Do you remember the time when? Would love to hear how you're doing." Or it could be, "Hey, Bob, I was just thinking of you and your family, and I realized your kids are probably in high school at this point. How's that going, Dad?" Something fun, something human, something about them. And that is all you're going to do here. Once you hear back from them, try to get them on a call. Try to get a coffee chat. Because that real conversation, that human connection that you're craving right now in this virtual world is not only going to help your career ultimately, because we never know where these opportunities will come from or who they'll come from, but it's actually going to help you, human to human, feel more connected. It will remind you that you've made these beautiful connections over time. It's also going to help you if you're being ghosted in the job search. Because when we are putting ourselves out there, we're being vulnerable and we don't hear back. That's a big blow to our ego and our confidence, isn't it? So once you get them on a virtual chat or in-person coffee, which would be even better, and you get to hang out with them again, focus on listening. This is not about you and your job search, even though that is the podcast you're listening to right now. And one of the reasons that we're talking about this. But like I said, it's really about that human connection. It's also the fact that networking is a two-way street. How can you offer value to your connections? Is there an article you can share with, a podcast episode like this one, Her Career Studio, or an upcoming event that aligns with their interests or current challenges? Is there something that you can share with them? Offer something of value so that it can reignite that spark in your relationship. It can go from cold to warm and collaborative. It can remind them of how much they like to work with you. If you find out that they're in a job search, is there a lead that you can send them? Is there a contact, a connection that you can make for them? Another way to get them to open up is ask open-ended questions about current projects, challenges, successes, family, etc. It's that mutual growth and support that's really going to feel authentic, and it's going to turn you away from thinking that you're doing the networking. All right, now you've reconnected. That's just the start. Keep that momentum going. The key to a thriving network is consistently nurturing it. So a really good tip is to make a note in your calendar to check in periodically. And you can even put who to check in with, or go back to this list that you now have. This ongoing effort will solidify your reconnection. And all of a sudden, it's going to turn this once neglected network into an active, supportive community. All right, last tip. Don't forget that every interaction should end with gratitude. Make sure you follow up even just that same day with a nice thank you for their time, their insights, recapping what you took away from it, or just simply for being part of your world, part of your history, part of your memories. Thank them for that. A little appreciation goes a long way in warming up any relationship. All right, that's my tip for today, how to warm up and nurture your connections and your relationships. And remember, Her Career Studio is all about making meaningful connections, one conversation at a time. So until our next episode, keep nurturing your network, watch it transform not just your career, but also enrich your life, maybe even in ways you never imagined. Okay, talk to you soon. Now head to hercareerstudio.com and snag a copy of the free blind referral guide. This is the secret of how to get a referral in an organization where you don't know anybody. This warmed up network will be happy to help you.